Hello and welcome to Plouay for the final round of the UCI Women's World Cup. We're down here in southern Brittany for the decider as we look to work out who will be taking all the placings in what has been the season-long competition. The riders getting warmed up as usual. Here we take a look at the Russ Velo team. Lizzie Armistead is already the winner of the Women's World Cup. There she is in the jersey that she's worn all season. Here's the standings after 8 rounds. Lizzie Armistead with an unassailable lead with 480 points. Emma Johansson in second place, but the placings can all be shuffled around at the end of today's race.
Here's Marianne VOS. It'll be interesting to see today if she's racing for herself or if she's going to set a victory up for a teammate.
Normally we have an advantage if we have a hard race, and yeah, it's 3 leaders, but we have all strong riders, and I think we want to show ourselves. It's the last World Cup, and we're in the lead with the team, and yeah, we want to show that that we are the best team.
There's certainly a very strong squad indeed, and one rider who's in the team, who's been in the headlines this season, she's here in her home race, the winner of Flèche-Wallonne, Pauline Ferrand Prevot.
I hope we will do a good race. For me, I want to attack and to be offensive. I think it's really important in France. Also with the television, we have to make a good race. We are 3 leaders, I can say, and yeah, we want to make a hard race, and to win the race is the goal of today.
Here we see through the window Iris Schlappendal. She's looking very relaxed today, also riding for the Rabobank team. She holds the sprinter's jersey and she's got that classification sewn up.
Here's Elisa Longoborghini riding for high-tech products. Not been riding in the last couple of rounds, and rumours abound that she is moving teams for next season. Here then, Rochelle, is Emma Johansson, the Swedish champion. Let's see what she can do today.
Well, she won the World Cup there in Chitilio earlier in the season. She's been very consistent. Here we have Elena Amalusic, who'll be fighting to get that Mountains jersey back today.
Well, that jersey, of course, worn by Vera Kududa after the round in Sweden, but she's not taking to the start this time, so that is up for grabs. Here we are on the start line for Prevot, all the interest on the French champion.
Well, Rabobank certainly have a lot of strength here today, with Ferrand Prevot being a French rider, and they'll be wanting to get her up for the victory, but also Anna van der Breggen in the mix there for the podium places for the World Cup Series.
Grand Prix Plouay, the flag is going to be dropped there by Brian Cookson, the president of the UCI, and the women's peloton that's enjoyed much greater exposure during the 2014 season, and very well deserved. All the races have been exciting. Let's take a look at what is on the menu today. The race centred on Plouay as we go out of the start. It's quite a rolling course. It's actually very testing. These climbs really take the strength out of your legs. We go 4 times round the large loop and then a small loop in towards a drag to the finish line.
This is a course that I have ridden a few times, and it's a very, very tough course. Perhaps too hard for a sprinter like Georgia Bronzini or Kirsten Wield, so it's more suited for the climbers today.
Rochelle, here we are on lap 3, and Marianne VOS, the world champion, looking very focused on the front. Scandalara in second place, and Emma Johansson split starting to form as we make our way up the climb of Chapel Saint Anne. And VOS is obviously out to try and win this race.
It's just amazing how many times we see Marianne VOS come to the front and apply pressure in a race. We very, very rarely see, I haven't personally ever seen her sitting on the back, just chilling out in a race and letting it all play out. She's very active and makes the race happen.
She certainly does. Well, a little bit of a lull in the action there as more riders made their way back to that group. I just saw Ashley Moolman, the South African champion, closing the gap. There's Lizzie Armistead taking a drink, the World Cup winner. At the beginning of the season, she was adamant that she wouldn't try and win this series. A big attack now.
Well, the attack's coming from Lucinda Brand of the Rabobank team, so they mean business, and it'll be interesting to see if they do ride like this, just one-off attacks, because last week in Sweden they tried this approach to come to the finish with numbers, but they didn't come out on top. So this week we think that they'll be trying to get a rider away and be secure of that victory.
On her wheel then is Tiff Cromwell of Specialized Lululemon. And we talked about them earlier in the season where they just weren't firing on all cylinders, but now there's no doubt this squad are right at the top of their game.
Well, that looked like a strong attack from Lucinda Brand. Here we have Marianne VOS looking very relaxed. Just a moment to anticipate what we're going to do next, but they'll be happy with that. Lucinda Brand out in the front.
Here's the breakaway group then. Let's just run through them. In the white with the Swedish flag is Emma Johansson. In the black and white there, Tiff Cromwell, the Australian rider from Specialized Lululemon. And Lucinda Brand there in the orange and black of Rabobank as they continue to work well. Clicking through the gears, constantly changing. And Megan Garnier there on the front, looking after the interests of her teammate, Lizzie Armitstead.
Well, we would have thought that was a good move for Rabobank, but now having Emma Johansson in the break makes it very, very difficult for someone like Lucinda Brand, because Emma Johansson's a pretty handy sprinter and in very, very fine form. So we might see some action from Rabobank. They may not be happy with this. Like we said last week in Sweden, it didn't pay off. But I think this week they'll be trying to play their cards to get one rider solo out in the front.
There's Johansson, the silver medalist in Beijing in 2008. These three working very strongly indeed. The gap looks to be growing, but high-tech products are really chasing hard now. There's Iris Schlappendel in the blue jersey. She's secured the sprint competition, which has run all season. And, of course, she designed the jerseys.
Valentina Scandalara there just taking a drink. Hausler back to the break here with Emma Johansson. Lucinda Brand and Tiffany Cromwell just asking what the time gap is here. That's important to know. She wants to know how far is it back to the chasing bunch, how much of a gap have we got. She may be thinking about attacking from here. She probably won't want to go to the finish with Emma Johansson.
Well, the riders will try to take as much information as they can, Rochelle, won't they? They'll get it from the motorbikes, the commissaires, the judges are on those bikes, and from their race radios, as we look at Anna van der Breggen here on the front. Yeah,
here we see some action from Rabobank. They're not happy with that because they know that Emma Johansson being in the break is a threat. Scandalara trying to come across and bridge that gap. But Anna van der Breggen's decided that we need a better scenario than what we've got at the moment.
Anna van der Breggen from Zwolle in the Netherlands, third in Grand Prix Plouay here in the past, so a rider who could do well today. She was second in Drenthe at the beginning of the season and fourth in Chitilio. So a rider that we've really got used to watching in these World Cups. Lovely smooth roads as this breakaway continues. The different styles of these riders. Van der Breggen is the rider that we just saw there, who's much more urgent. Lucinda Brand kind of hauling the bike up to the top of this climb here. She's more suited to when she gets on the flat roads and really drives on.
Well, certainly a very, very strong rider for the Rabobank team, but it wouldn't be a rider that we would have predicted would be out in the break today for Rabobank on such a tough course. Now we see the chasers really splitting it up, heating it up and trying to get back to get a different scenario out in front there. Elena Amalusic, Ferrand Prevot, one of the favourites here today, being a French rider in the Plouay World Cup.
Well, look at this then, Rochelle. The breakaway now is over, and the first team to get there are Rabobank. So Lucinda Brand and Anna van der Breggen now joining up, combining at the front, and the World Cup winner, Lizzie Armitstead, closing a gap, all there in white, resplendent in the jersey and doing almost a lap of honour today.
Well, that was a very interesting move, very intelligent move from Lucinda Brand. She went straight to the front when van der Breggen got there. She decided, okay, van der Breggen's here. She's done a bit of work to come across. I'm going to get on the front and keep the pressure high, because if we could succeed here, we'll have two in the break. However, as we speak, it's all coming back together, so we'll see a new situation in a moment.
Rosella Rato there in the pink. There is the Belarusian champion, Amalusic, who wants this Mountains jersey. She wore it earlier on in the season. She's seen it go to other riders, but she desperately wants it back. You see the speed now in this group, and it is Lizzie Armitstead who's going to the front, tracked by Elisa Longoborghini, the Italian rider, who is sitting there. She was third in Flèche Wallonne, which for me this season was the most exciting round of this Women's World Cup.
So Marianne VOS to the front to control this again. Be a lot of discussion about what kind of situation we want here. Here are the riders chasing. We see Tatiana Guerrero for the LA Cipollini team. They didn't make the break, so they've got to do the work here. But Ashley Moolman in second place. She was riding for Elisa Longoborghini, but one of the riders we would have expected to see in the front.
Yeah, she's a rider who likes the climbs, isn't she? So she's missed the split. Maybe just the acceleration at the time is a little bit too much. And another rider who likes the climbs normally is Evie Stevens, and she's also there. These leaders working strongly now and looking very, very good indeed. Conversations, Rochelle, going on.
Yeah, Marianne VOS, she just spoke to Ferrand Prevot. Now she's moved up next to Van der Breggen to have a discussion about what's going to happen now, what they want to do. And they've got the numbers and they've got the strength, so they are dictating this race at the moment.
She's a master tactician, Marianne VOS, her team all around her. And on the back there is Pauline Ferrand Prevot. Let's find out a little bit more about the French champion at all 4 disciplines. At just 22, she's one of the sport's rising stars.
In junior, I won 3 titles, 2 on MTB and 1 on the road. And mentally, it was hard to didn't win again. Yeah, I cannot choose my favorite title, but yeah, the first one in elite category was this winter in cyclocross. So this one was quite exciting. And after I won on the road, on TT and on MTB. So yeah, for me, I'm really proud to represent my country and to wear this jersey for 1 year.
Pauline Ferrand Prevot is going to win the biggest race of her career so far. What a stunning win by the rider from France, from Rabo-Liv.
Yeah, it was a big step for me this year to win a World Cup. And 2 weeks after Flash Wallon, I won my first World Cup in Elite on MTB. So for me it was wow. Yeah, I cannot imagine to do this. Now my federation knows I want to do both, and I don't want to choose. I like road and like MTB. It's my life, and I don't think I have to choose now. When I came to this team, I didn't speak English, so it was quite hard. But I said, okay, you have to progress and to speak. And now, yeah, everybody was really nice with me and also helped me. So for me, Marianne VOS is not a rival. It's more like, yeah, she teach me a lot. And for me, yeah, it's not an idol because it's my teammate also, but yeah, it's like yeah, the best woman in the world. I really learned to be patient and to wait, but also to be more offensive and fighting, because Dutch girls are a really fighting spirit, and yeah, I have also, but less, I think. For next year, I'm already afraid to do better than this year. So for next year, if I do the same season, it's really good for me. And Marianne is Marianne, and if I can beat Marianne 1 time in championships, I will be very happy.
Well, we'll know if that's possible in a few weeks' time when she pulls on the French jersey at the World Championships in Ponferrada, Spain. She'll be competing against the very strong Dutch team.
It's going to be intriguing as the riders now approach 1 lap of racing to go. 13.9 kilometers left on this loop, and it's now Lucinda Brand going on the attack yet again, with the leaders now with an advantage of 1 minute and 30 seconds on the chasing group. It looks like the winner will come from this group. An immediate reaction from Elena Amalusik there in 2nd place.
Well, Lucinda Brand flicks the elbow, shakes the head. She wants some help from Elena Amalusik, but Amalusik doesn't want to come through and doesn't want to help. That's a bit strange, because this could have been a really good move for her. A guaranteed silver medal if she had come through and worked with this, but she's a little bit hesitant. So Lucinda Brand, she's been amazing today for the Rabobank team. She's been on the attack. It'll be interesting to see if any of these moves pay off, but she's definitely giving it a good go now. She's being joined by Emmy Johansson and Lizzie Armitstead.
Looking pretty powerful at the front today, Lucinda Brand, and that gap is closing up again. Elisa Longo-Borghini is the rider who's shutting the gap on these leaders as they hit now the climb of the Côte de la Sceaux. and make their way up this rise. But it's Longa Borghini who's going to shut the gap. Behind her is Rosella Rato, Anna van der Breggen, Pauline Prevot. Now another reaction as they get caught, and it's Rabobank who go on the attack yet again. They are constantly putting every other team on the ropes today.
They've got 4 in this main group that we think is going to stay away. We don't think any more riders will be able to join them, but Elisa Longo Borghini, she comes across to Anna van der Breggen. She's taking up a little bit of work here, so this is a strong move by the two.
Elisa Longo Borghini on the front, just trying to press home the advantage. The gantry you can see across the top of the road there is the top of the climb, then it's fast downhill.
Lizzie Armitstead taking up the chase again. She's done a lot of work today, and she's the guaranteed World Cup leader. She's got the World Cup jersey in the bag, so she's very relaxed in today's race, but she's taking up a lot of work to chase down these moves. She could just sit back and say, okay, I've won the World Cup series. If it plays out to my favour today, okay, but no, she's taking up a lot of that chasing work.
Well, she's set herself her objectives for the season. One of them wasn't the World Cup, but that's come to pass. She wanted to win the Tour of Flanders. She was second in that. She wanted to win the Commonwealth Games. She managed to do that as well. And now a furious attack from Marianne VOS, the world champion, really thundering over the top of this climb.
Well, you see Marianne VOS, she chose the steepest part of this course on this hill. That's the type of climb she likes. It's not quite as steep as the Mer de Huy, where she wins at Flèche Wallonne in the past, but she definitely chooses those points where it's very steep and she can hurt the legs of the other riders.
Big deep breath there from Marianne VOS as she makes her way around the corner. Now another acceleration, and she is thinking of 2 things. One, winning this race. The second thing is getting the biggest workout she can ready for Ponferrada, because she will want to wear the rainbow bands next season as well. Lizzie Armitstead on the front now. Ferrand Prevot, the French champion, in second place. Just through the trees we see another attack, and it's Lucinda Brand making another move. How many attacks has she done today?
Well, she's certainly been a very valuable rider for Rabobank, because she's setting the other riders up by just making these attacks. She has no fear, nothing to lose. She's just told, please keep attacking and attacking for as long as you can. We've seen her fighting to hold on to the back, coming back and making those attacks. And I think it was Tiffany Cromwell trying to make her way across to this.
Looked like Tiff Cromwell was pedaling squares there. She could hardly turn the pedals. She's done a lot of attacking as well today. She shakes her head. She chats to Lizzie Armitstead. These two are training partners down in the south of France. And she said to Lizzie, I think I've got nothing left today. But she goes through to the front. Meanwhile, this rider is opening up an advantage very fast, 34 seconds.
Well, that was a great attack. She was dropped off the back and she came back. We've seen today she's a very intelligent rider, because she's using everything she possibly can. She came back to that group and she attacked straight away, and she put a significant gap between herself and the chasers. And turning her head then to see the car behind her would have given her an indication that there is quite a bit of a gap, because the car slipped in there between herself and the chasing group.
Yeah, the cars come in the minute there is a gap of over 30 seconds. The neutral service car will come in to look after her in case she has a puncture. Her team car would be allowed to come up an awful lot later. Mouth wide open then as she concentrates hard on pushing forward to try and win this race. The Dutch champion, you can see the Dutch flag there on her left sleeve, signifying she is a former national champion in 2013 and a stage winner in the Route de France. But look at this here. The gap is going to grow because these riders are nullifying each other.
Well, there was some hesitation there. They've been looking at each other. Rabobank have got the situation they've wanted all day, a solo rider up the road. It puts them in a very, very strong position. But Elisa Longo Borghini, she's putting a bit of an effort in now. Could it be too late, because that gap is going out quite significantly?
Elisa Longo Borghini looking around here for a little bit of assistance, and it isn't happening. She glances across. Samalusic isn't able to contribute to the pacemaking. Meanwhile, this rider is into time trial mode, and she has got her head down. She's been beaten on the finish line a few times this season, notably in the Dutch Championship, and she is concentrating hard now on just building her advantage, looking down at that little meter she's got on the front of the handlebars, telling her how much speed she's getting out of the bike. Now Johansson goes on the left-hand side there.
Well, Emmy Johansson will probably start thinking about the second place today at this World Cup, because that's a significant gap for Lucinda Brand, and she's not going to take the pressure off the pedals. And I don't think this group's going to let Emmy Johansson go. She's going to look over her shoulder there and see that Rabobank have closed it down. They're in control. And that must do a lot to the morale of the other riders here, knowing that there's so many Rabobank riders there to chase and cover the moves. So we might see that there won't be too much more action from this group because they're going to let it come down to a sprint. There's no cooperation there. Lizzie Armitstead just following the wheel of Marianne VOS.
Tiff Cromwell desperately trying to get back to the chasers. Meanwhile, under the Flamme Rouge here at GP de Plouay, as we see Lucinda Brand, you can see that orange little thing going round the chainring. That's her power meter. She won't be worrying anymore about it. All she'll be worrying about is whether she can hold on to the finish. And here she is, Lucinda Brand, heading up this drag towards the conclusion of the final World Cup of the 2014 season. We have seen different winners in every one of the road stages, and of course Specialized Lululemon taking the team time trial. This rider has not taken a World Cup this season, but she has very much deserved it today. She's been constantly attacking. There you go, Lucinda Brand is the winner here in Plouay, and that's a celebration, isn't it? What a fantastic victory from the Dutch rider.
It's great to see a rider that gives everything to the team come off with the win. She wasn't expecting that today, but very, very well deserved. Tiffany Cromwell hits out very early in the sprint. It's a hard sprint to judge, very, very long, but we see Marianne VOS and Pauline Ferrand Prevot there on the left of your screen. Here comes VOS.
VOS through a gap there, and now she is going for the finish line. Pauline Ferrand Prevot, the French champion, right on the wheel. This is looking good for Rabo. Marianne VOS takes second, Ferrand Prevot takes third.
I had a few times this year that they beat me on the line, so I keep going till the finish. On the finish line, I'm sure this year that I win.
All smiles for Lucinda Brand. Thoroughly well deserved today. Attacked all the way through and takes a victory. Here's the result. She wins in 3 hours, 8 minutes and 26 seconds. Marianne VOS led in the group at 56 seconds down. Ferrand Prevot makes sure it's a clean sweep for Rabobank Liv today.
Wonderful performance by the Rabobank team. 1, 2, 3 in 3 different jerseys. Lucinda Brand wearing the Rabobank team jersey with the Dutch national champ stripes on the sleeves. And Ferrand Prevot in the French national jersey. And Marianne VOS, of course, in the World Championship jersey.
Well, I think they were looking at the replay. There's the sprint. VOS punching the air with her teammate in second place on her wheel to take third overall. There's the podium. Lucinda Brand wins here in Plouay. VOS takes second, Ferrand Prevot in third. That leaves the standings looking like this at the end of 9 rounds of racing. Lizzie Armitstead wins the World Cup with 515 points, 125 points ahead of Emma Johansson, and VOS moves into third place. Lizzie Armitstead receives the winner's trophy from Brian Cookson.
I'm really pleased. It's a nice surprise for the season. I didn't expect to do it, so I'm really happy.
And will you try for it next year?
Probably not, no. I think, you know, I still want to win Flanders and the World Championships. Those are the big goals for me in cycling. So I have this now in the pocket, so maybe not.
Elena Emalusic, she entered today's race on equal points with Vera Kudoda, but she did what she needed to do to seal the mountain jersey victory at the 2014 World Cup.
And on the podium, Iris Schlappendel, she wins the sprints jersey. All smiles from her. 22 points to Anna Stricker in second place.
It's really cool to have the first edition myself, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. We did a good race also again today, and winning was the main goal, and yeah, so we did it. We were all in the first group, and yeah, I even got some points in the sprint again today, so I almost feel like a sprinter now.
Well, speaking of sprinters, Elena Cecchini was second in the round in China of the World Cup, and she seals the victory in the young riders jersey classification.
It was a great feeling also if today was not my best day, but I'm happy to get this goal because it's really important for me, and I hope next year I will be better in this race.
It was a very exciting year for women's cycling with 9 World Cups and 8 different winners. Let's hear from Brian Cookson about the future of women's cycling.
Well, I think we take more steps in the same direction. I think that's the important thing, that we do more of what we're doing and try and do it better and bigger. We're seeing now more sponsors showing interest. We're seeing more host towns and cities showing interest. And I think we can start to build women's cycling, especially on the road like this today, much more strongly going forward. I think there's also been a change in the attitude of the media in terms of coverage and reporting. And I think we'll see that continue as well.
A fantastic season of women's cycling. Rabobank are the team winners. Lizzie Armistead is the overall World Cup champion. From Rochelle and myself, Anthony, bye for now.